Hi, my name is Michael Atman with Iconasys. Today we'll be doing a real-time workflow video communicating 360 mobile phone photography. We've had a lot of customers requesting this in the mobile phone space, specifically refurbished and secondhand phone dealers who have thousands of unique items to photograph. They want to show the actual phone that they're selling to their consumer, and we've got a very fast, efficient way to create high-quality images regardless of experience. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's first just discuss our setup. We're working with our silver mid-series turntable. That's this turntable here. It usually has a top on it. I've removed that in order to place our cell phone mounting kit. This kit basically mounts to the motor stem, and then it has multiple different cell phone mounts. And essentially what these are is just a port. So we've got a USB Type-C port that can screw in, and we'll mount all cell phones obviously with a USB Type-C. We have a USB micro, and then we also have the lightning cable for iPhones, and that's what we currently have plugged in. So just to mount a phone, it's very straightforward. You just take your phone, place it on the actual mount, and instantly it's centered on that for rotating, which is very important when shooting 360 product photography. So that's mounted, ready to go. I'm going to turn on my lighting. We're working with our LumiPad 360 lighting kit. This is the small version. We're going to kind of do a unique setup of this. Typically, well, we're going to use our lighting up front. It comes with two of these tower lights and a 16 by 16 inch back panel. However, for the case of this demo, and specifically shooting cell phones, light directly on the kind of front is going to have kind of harsh reflections. So we're going to do a little bit different lighting technique with this and just kind of show how flexible these LumiPad lighting kits are. So I've turned on my backlight panel. These are dimmable. I'm just going to increase that to kind of about full power. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to essentially create a window. Obviously you're shooting like a mirror almost with that phone, especially when it's turned off. So what I'm going to do is create using white foam board. And if you can see here, it's just white foam board with an acrylic kind of book stop that's kind of clasped on. And what we're going to do is place one of these on either side to create a little small front opening that our camera will shoot directly through. And it will look something like this. And what this is going to do, A, is not only help kind of control reflections, but B, we're going to have the light coming off the back panel, and it's going to bounce off these kind of white panels back on the phone, creating a very consistent and even lighting source on the actual mobile phone itself. And then what we're going to do is just add a little bit more light. So I'm going to turn on my tower light and probably turn it to about 50% brightness. And I'm going to place this just sitting over top here. And this is directly over the phone. And what this does is just provide a little bit more light and kind of creates a nice helpful gradient almost along the screen there. So now that our lighting is set up, what we're going to do is turn on our camera. We've connected that through USB to our computer, and we're going to go into the Shutterstream 360 software to walk through the workflow. Okay, so this is the Shutterstream 360 software UI that you're seeing here. On the left-hand side, we do have our image capture tools that will be responsible for kind of composing and capturing the image. Right-hand side, we have our image processing tools that will be editing, output, as well as on the bottom we do have our camera control settings. A common first step inside of the software is to optimize your camera settings for your lighting environment, and that's what we're going to do. It looks a little bit dark here, so we can change our exposure through our shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and we're just going to make a couple of quick changes here. The nice thing about when shooting with a Canon camera is its exposure simulation that we've built into our software. So again, as you see, I make these changes, and you can actually see the exposure in the live view make adjustments. So we're going to optimize our settings here. That looks pretty good. What I'm going to do is I can actually save these settings. So if I want to create a save profile, I can do that. That'll be retained from shot to shot and product to product just for internal consistencies. The next thing that we want to do is pre-crop our subject. One thing I do want to kind of just quickly point out is you can crop in a custom ratio, a perfect square, or just freeform rectangle. I'm going to shoot at a custom ratio and just kind of pretend I need all my images at 600 by 900 pixels, for instance. I'm going to crop at a 6:9 ratio. And you're going to see when I drag and drop my crop over top of the live view window, defining the area that I wish to shoot, you're going to see that it retains that to a 6:9 ratio. So that looks pretty good there. I'm just going to, if you look in the center of the crop, this little circle, I just want that in the center of my object just to mean that there is even space on the kind of left and right of the subject. And, pardon me, let me just make a small little adjustment there. And when we're ready to go, we can just kind of do a quick pre-capture. So that's the image that we just shot. We can go ahead and inspect this quickly. I'll just to show you our editing tools. What we really try to do, and you don't need to do this, but if you're working with one of our lighting kits, you can typically shoot directly on pure white background. So if you watch this RGB value up here, you're going to see as I move my mouse over my subject, it's going to pick up whatever color that I'm kind of inspecting. That the pixel that my mouse has hovered over, and that value 255, 255, 255, that means pure white. So essentially with this image, we've got a very color accurate image instantly shot on a pure white background. Probably don't require any post-production, but if required, what you could do is let's go ahead and just quickly create a kind of small little edits here. And what we're doing is just making some adjustments to our levels, sharpness. We can make some color balance adjustments, etc. We could automatically extract backgrounds. But after we've done that, I'm just going to create a profile here. I'm just going to put Mike's profile. Okay. And you don't see much changes, but I've just made very slight changes. But I've just created the profile, and I'm going to touch on that in just kind of a second here. We do have an option inside of our options area that is called Snap Options, and you can apply Edit Profile after capture. So what we just created was an editing profile. We're going to see Mike's profile, and you're going to notice that when I hit Live View and then Snap, it's automatically going to capture that image, crop that image, and then also apply that editing profile. And again, there wasn't many changes done to that. That's why you don't see a big difference between what we saw in the live preview versus the captured image, but just know that you can auto apply edits. So we're going to leave that enabled. I'm going to delete these two images, and we're going to move into our 360 shooting mode. So I click this 360 button up in the top right. I'm going to choose my Iconasys turntable. We're working with the silver mid, and I'm going to choose the number of frames. So I want to shoot 36 frames per 360. Users do have full control over the turntable spin direction, turntable speed. We're going to use at the fastest speed. We're going to shoot in clockwise. And one thing that we could do here is do a pre-rotate. So I'm going to say rotate the turntable 360 degrees. And what we're going to do is watch to ensure that as our object turns, it doesn't fall outside of the cropped area. And you can see previously I might have just missed the bottom of the phone on that rotate. So I've just adjusted my crop area. And again, that's a pretty nice feature. To be able to kind of see it pre-rotate before you start shooting, just so you know that your object will stay inside of your cropped area that you defined. Now that we're ready to shoot, I'm just going to enable my camera into manual focus. We can view one-to-one and inspect, which everything looks like it's pretty well in focus here. And then I just hit my start button, which will automate the capture process in a turn, stop, snap workflow. After images are captured, they're uploaded directly to the software. So now we're done our capture process. It took about just under 2 minutes for the total 36 images. Again, it was completely automated. Now we're going to move on to our saving. And what we do here, I've actually made a save profile. It has all my settings in here. What I'm going to do is just enter, maybe it's a SKU number. If you have a barcode scanner, you can barcode scan directly in there. I'm going to have it create a master folder based on this SKU number that I've entered. I'm going to output in JPEG format. Choose to resize to 1500 pixels tall, and I'll just hit the OK, and that's going to batch process, rename, resize, and output the images. All right, now we're done with the output step. Let's go ahead and inspect our folder here with our images. Here we can see all 36 frames. I've opened up the 360 View Creator software. This software is responsible for composing the 360 product view for us. And what we can see there in just a couple seconds is it output an interactive 360 file that we can easily go ahead and output locally and then upload to our web server for hosting, and or use the Iconasys 360 server, which you can upload directly to through this application. One thing I'll just quickly touch on is these are fully customizable, these product views. The button players, or the player type, pardon me, the button colors, the button style, output size, spin direction, speed of rotation, etc. I will just touch one more thing here. We do have a hotspot functionality. For instance, you're going to see this little crack on the screen here. So what I'm going to do is maybe I just want to add a text hotspot that says cracked screen. I'm going to choose one of the kind of defaulted hotspots here. I'm going to say I want the hotspot to false. I can choose my font size, font, etc. And I'm just going to hit save. And then what I can do from here is go ahead and place that hotspot, and I'm going to add it just on 3 frames here. It's simply drag and drop. And then we can kind of show you what we've just created here in just a couple seconds. And we're just trying to point out, again, a flaw on the phone that we're selling. So let me return and reload this. There you go. And when we get to the frames that I put on, you can see cracked screen. I can hover over that, and if you did want to go ahead and view on it up close, you can do so, and you can see, okay, there's the defect on the phone there. As you can see, deep zoom. You have full control over kind of whatever zoom level you want. And then when you're ready to output, I'll just hit the save button after giving it a file name. And again, that outputs a local folder, which you can go ahead and upload to your web servers for 360 image hosting. And it would look something like this. Now, when you're ready to get started shooting your next product, you just enter back into the ShutterStream software. We're going to delete all these previous images. And we're just going to enable the live view again. And it will be very straightforward. It retains all your settings from shot to shot. I'm just going to remove my previous phone, place on my next phone. And I might slightly adjust my crop markers here because this is a larger phone. And then I can just hit the 360 button and essentially, let me place the light back on the top. Hit the start button, and all my settings are retained from shot to shot. So now we're started shooting our next 360 product view. So very fast, very efficient workflow for users with high volume imaging requirements. If you have any questions, the company name is Iconasys. Let us know. Thank you.